This is a treat for these real hardcore track-focused fanatics that just wants to go quicker and quicker and set faster lap times. And this one, well, this is the one that can pull that off. The new GT3 RS, well, it's the most extreme Porsche that has ever been made. And just not by the look of it, because I mean, it's just so extreme with all these cutaways, all these fins, and that big wing, because that big wing, well, that's the one that catches everyone's attention. It's almost ridiculously big, and how they got that through regulations higher than the roof, well, that is impressive, but it's not as impressive as what it says it can deliver. This has got active aero, and at speeds up at 285 kilometers, it produces 860 kilos of downforce, and at 200 kilometers an hour, it produces 406 kilos. So that is more than double from the previous RS, the 991 Generation 2 model. To start off with, for being the most outrageous track-focused car in Porsche's lineup at the moment, when you roll off like this, it doesn't really feel that super dramatic. It's okay. Of course, you can feel that there's some urgency, and then it's stiff. You know, it's 50% stiffer suspension than the GT3 RS. But when you roll off in normal, it works. But this is not a car for the road. That is very specific. This one is all about that aerodynamic, all of that grip that you want, and that you can keep that real high pace in corners. And I mean, and corners out on the public roads, well, that is nothing really to explore. And the steering, well, every time you step into a Porsche, you always get that immediate feel. And in this one, you can feel that it's even more sharp, it's even more crisp. If you want something for the public road, a GT3, just buy the GT3 Touring. That's elegant, or the normal GT3, even though I say that they're also a bit too much for the road. But this is on another level. This is ridiculous for the public road. Sure, you can drive it, you can find your roads. Don't know where you live, you might have the most beautiful roads that there's not that much traffic on. Sure, you can embrace these roads and just go for it. All this aerodynamics, and with the DRS and the suspension and this airflow and all these vents and flaps and all of this that contributes to something like an F1 technology based race car, it should sit where you can just push it and become better. On a public road, there's always a limit. There's always a limit. The hydraulic two-piece wing, the 911 turbo body, that active aero and the front bumper and the wider track, fatter tires, well, that adds up on the kilos. Even so, the optional magnesium wheels, the single radiator layout, carbon fiber for the wing, roof, doors, bonnet and front wings, makes it land on 1,450 kilos on the scale, which is not that bad, only 22 kilos more than the regular GT3. So it's an impressive package. And it's just great that they're not out hunting for these horsepower figures. This is not made to be super quick in a drag race. If you want something like that, well, go for a 911 Turbo or Turbo S. Be better off there. But when it comes to the track, well, this is a jewel. Starting price for this car is 2,680,000 Swedish crowns. PDK gearbox, it has been sharpened up a bit more, so the 7th gear is not like an overdrive anymore, like in the other GT3 models. So it's a bit shorter up there. That's why the top speed isn't as high, 296 kilometers. DRS is ready, now it's pushing it down, and when you flick this DRS button here, well, feel that it folds up, so you can gain some more speed on the straights. But this is not a straight line performer. No, this is a performer in the corners, so you can gain as much speed as possible. So the DRS, it works in speeds over 100 kilometers an hour, and it also sets and gets into the right position in a third of a second when it feels that you need that downforce. At about 280 kilometers, you get 860 kilos of downforce. Now that is insane. This works automatically in the background when you drive in track mode. So above speeds of 100 kilometers an hour, and when you have a throttle over 95% pushed. So this is super technology put into a already very potent track car. Stepping into this car and you don't feel that intimidated as you might think when you will look at this car from the outside. The conveniences are here. You feel at home as in any other 992 version. You get some carbon fiber here, you got the leather and race text together with that inlay of red in the seats, and the door lining here looks really, really racy and cool. But they are comfortable. The padding is good. You've got some space to move about in them. They're not that squeezy, tight, hard. You got this steel roll cage back here. I think the Visac pack, well, you get titanium or carbon fiber back there and some other goodies to make it a bit lighter. But what's new here is all these type of dials. You got the drive dial. You go from normal, sport to track. And what you can do more is that you can get into PSAM, that's the Porsche Active Suspension Management, and you can set the compression from -4 to +4 at the front, the same at the back. You got the Porsche torque vectoring system. You can set that, how hard you want that power to be, the ESC and the traction control. And you can put that in dynamic, and you can set that from 1 to on to +7. So you can calibrate that traction control dynamically. And that's good depending on what the weather conditions are. And of course you can set it all off. Something that I like is this nose racing system. You need that because it's very low, this car. So when you get to different type of speed bumps, well, that is very good. It lifts the car rather quickly. And what you also can do is that it comes up a little display here. Do you want to save this speed bump? And you just push yes, and it will be saved. So next time you come to that via the navigation, well, it will raise the nose. That's very, very smart. So of course, it's very focused in here, and you just want to get on with it. Out on the track, more than out on the public roads, really. So this is rather magnificent, having all these buttons like in a Formula 1 car to set all that dampers, downforce, the torque vectoring power. You know, instead of just stepping out of the car and having your spanner or something to adjust it. In some cars, well, you just climb out and you can adjust it in a simple way. But you know, you want to do it from here. This is the thing, you want to be immediate in your settings so you can focus on the next lap. So 0 to 100 is dealt with in 3.2 seconds. You do 0 to 200 in 10.6. And this beautiful 4-liter naturally aspirated boxer engine sounds as good as always. It delivers 525 horsepower, so they haven't gone, you know, crazy on the horsepower figures. This is all about the downforce again. Yeah, and it revs out to 9,000 RPM, and that's just heaven-like. And this gearbox, it's also almost like sent from heaven because it's so immediate, and you know where you have it. It's so quick. They are just being praised, and they're praised for the right reasons. It's just a super effective gearbox. You can't get this one with a manual gearbox, and you shouldn't have it. You shouldn't have a manual gearbox on this one. You know, I like the manual gearbox in the GT3 Touring, but I would anyway rather have a PDK gearbox. Just amazing. Porsche has also worked a lot with the front and the rear axle to make the car not dive that much during braking. brakes, they are really, really powerful. It's just so playful, this PDK. It's there in every millisecond, whenever you need it. And on track, that really is important, because you need to have something that really plays along with you. Doesn't matter how aggressive you are or how lean you are, it should be there, synchronized with your motion and your tempo. And Porsche and the PDK gearboxes, they're just aligned with all type of performance drivers. All right, let's get out on the track. So the pace car is a GT3 RS. So this is Mantorp Raceway. A lot of competitions going on here. This is where it's supposed to be, this car, on track. Yeah, it's got so much grip, this car. You can just go beyond the limits. It's ridiculous. Driving the manual mode right now, we're revving out all the way to 9,000 RPM. That's good. The brakes, they are so strong. You know, this is pure race car. You can keep, oh yeah, you can feel the downforce. It's just magnificent. But I want to push it even more, but at the same time, I want me to keep off a little. So 5 car length. I think I got a bit too big helmet on, but it doesn't matter. Let's just go. This car is immense. It's almost like you need to hang on to the steering wheel because it got so much grip. But everything is in auto now with the DRS and all of this. I want to catch him a bit here in the GT3 RS. And these tires, yeah, they grip so good. You can, you know, turn it in so quick. Ah, the grip is immense. This is crazy. This is a pure race car compared to the, you know, normal roads. Different animal. The downforces, they are strong. You can feel them. You can just go quicker and quicker and quicker in the corners. That is something that you need to adapt and really feel like do it gradually. It's got such precision and feedback, but you know, it's there. It's very neutral in the type of weight that it really transfers. Amazing car. This car is so good that every time I get out on a track and want to drive, I want to feel how it feels when you step over the line. But in this car, it's got so much grip and downforce that you can't almost step over the line with this speed in these corners. It's almost like you can transcend the car into a totally different spot in an instant. Crazy. And that sound all the way up to 9,000 RPM, well, it's just heaven. And you get on the brakes, hard on the brakes. And those downshifts, this PDK, well, it never fails to deliver. It's just so good. You know, when you get into this attack mode, that you just want the clock to start so you can set your lap times, and this is the car to do it with. These cars are indestructible. Let's not say too much, but they are, because you can just feed them on track day in and day out, and that's what Porsche is all about. It's such a joy. Är det okej eller? Det känns lite va? Marcus, the photographer here, I mean, sitting just focusing on something else, and these forces are pushing you from side to side, can make you feel a bit sick, but he ain't sick. He's a fighter. So sum it all up here in this GT3 RS is that this is purely for the racetrack. Actually, you can drive it on the road as we've seen. but it always wants to draw you to the next racetrack because you want to explore something. You want to explore how complex it might be, and this car, it can handle everything. If you turn everything off, well, maybe you can provoke it to that limit that it might start to throw. But when you got these extra tires, which are R-marked, well, then it's just like glue to the surface. It's just a good car. Let's see what type of car we can drive in the future that can top this. That is not easy to find.